So apparently Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
Went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like I guess like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news. And we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won. And this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Joe Rogan was just living his best life, sipping on his elk smoothies, lifting kettlebells, and decoding the universe, when something snapped. The ladies of The View had poked the bear one too many times, and this time that bear decided to bite back, with a $100 million lawsuit. Joy Behar looked stunned, Sunny Hostin was already sweating through her blazer, and Whoopi Goldberg? She looked like she had just remembered every regrettable thing she ever said on air. This wasn't just a lawsuit. It was a legal bombshell so heavy it could have come with its own Spotify sponsorship.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal.
But
I don't know these people. Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest f***ing statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't believe
the other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
wait.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles.
Joe Rogan didn't send a warning. He dropped the hammer. Was this courtroom drama or the weirdest celebrity crossover in talk show history? Either way, it was spiraling into pure chaos, and the internet couldn't look away. The View tried to puff themselves up by saying, "We're checked by ABC News," as if that gave them superpowers against legal accountability. But Joe wasn't buying it, and neither was his legal team.
That show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. And they always bring on a token conservative woman, and they yell over her and silence her. And, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
The whole nation was watching to see if Joe would roar back. And wow, did he ever. As one host smugly claimed, "You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons," viewers across the globe blinked in disbelief. Was this serious journalism or a middle school gossip fest?
Joe Rogan here. Did you see Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons, I guess? According to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
That. I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. It's, the thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so, let's do that. It goes without saying, Joe Rogan, how many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar?
For years, The View threw jabs at him like he was a human dartboard. But Rogan wasn't going to be their punching bag anymore. Not for the self-declared queens of caffeinated outrage. He called them out, not just on social media, but in the most brutal arena of all, the courtroom. And the stakes? A jaw-dropping $100 million. The hosts of The View had spent years shouting over guests, especially any conservative woman brave enough to show up. Now they were getting a taste of what it feels like to be interrupted by a subpoena. They mocked Meghan McCain, shouted down other guests, and built an empire on smug superiority.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign
foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way.
But
so when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really
But
good
it's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact-checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels, and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not even true.
But that empire just got hit with a legal wrecking ball. The View is like brunch with wine moms who think reading one headline makes them a constitutional expert. But this time, they messed with someone who actually reads the source material. 5 women, 1 table, no filters. And now, a tsunami of legal backlash threatening to drown the entire set. They accused Joe of everything short of starting the moon landing hoax. And for what? He wasn't even on the show. He hadn't sent a tweet, a wave, not even a meme. Yet somehow, he became the main course in their gossip buffet. Joy's eye rolls practically broke the laws of physics. Whoopi played referee like always, speaking with the weight of someone who'd never once Googled the word irony. And as she warned about misinformation and division, the irony got so thick it could be cut with a spoon, especially since she later floated the idea of jailing Republicans. That's right, Whoopi suggested on national TV that Biden could throw all Republicans in jail.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it.
And they still want us to believe they're the voice of reason. The View's hosts talked about foreign adversaries and social media chaos while creating the very kind of division they claim to be fighting. And then, right in the middle of it, came the dragon joke. Rogan's so-called belief in dragons became the running gag, until it backfired spectacularly. They mocked, they sneered, they laughed, until Joe's lawyers showed up with a suitcase full of receipts and a legal playbook that made ABC tremble. Joe didn't care if they hated his haircut or his elk meat obsession. But accusing him of endangering humanity? That crosses a line. And that's defamation. He wasn't going to cry about it on Instagram.
I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror. A horror.
I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners.
then
He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation?
He was going to sue them into next week. And he did, with legal papers that landed louder than any punchline. This wasn't about hurt feelings. It was about reputation, contracts, and cold hard cash. Because when you have a $200 million Spotify deal, image matters. Rogan's team didn't show up with a flowery cease and desist. They came in hot, with transcripts, clips, and a case built brick by brick. Every word the hosts had ever said was dissected and cross-referenced with actual facts. Facts, something The View had apparently forgotten existed. The show had accused Rogan of spreading dangerous misinformation without offering a shred of real proof. That's not free speech. That's reckless slander. And while they hid behind the phrase, just our opinion, Rogan's lawyers weren't playing games. They knew opinions don't protect you when they're broadcast as facts to millions. The reaction from The View? Total chaos. Joy looked like her Wi-Fi had crashed. Sunny scrambled like she was back in law school mid-finals. Whoopi channeled her philosopher queen routine again, declaring, "It's just our opinion." But this time, the smokescreen didn't work. Because once you say something defamatory on national television, it's not just chit-chat, It's a liability.
But arguably, like, the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school, and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, are just very dull-minded.
And Rogan addressed the whole saga on his podcast, the biggest one on earth. While The View trembled, Joe calmly tore them apart with truth, logic, and that trademark Rogan smirk. The fans? Oh, they were loving it. Reddit exploded. YouTube comment sections turned into courtroom analysis zones, and Twitter? It became a battlefield. Rogan's supporters were relentless, armed with memes, facts, and fury. Meanwhile, The View's defenders were left stammering, scrambling, and searching for excuses. This wasn't just a media spat anymore. This was a full-blown reckoning. Joe Rogan wasn't just punching back. He was dragging the whole table of daytime drama queens into the courtroom spotlight. For years, The View got away with throwing shade like confetti. But now, that confetti was on fire, and the smoke was choking their ratings. The hosts loved to joke, judge, and jab. But the moment someone clapped back with a $100 million lawsuit, suddenly they were just entertainers sharing opinions. They called him dangerous. They accused him of pushing misinformation. And they did it with smirks, sips of coffee, and no facts to back it up. But Joe Rogan? He came prepared. He had timestamps, audio evidence, and legal firepower that made ABC's legal department sprint to the nearest panic room.
The show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
and at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows.
It wasn't just Joe on the attack. It was the entire internet watching, dissecting, and calling out The View for hypocrisy. And the most shocking part? Even The View's own audience started turning against them. Clips of their smears went viral for all the wrong reasons. Their fake confidence, their smug chuckles, their careless words. It all came back to haunt them in front of millions. Sunny tried to backpedal, suggesting a disclaimer for Rogan's podcast, but her voice cracked, and the damage was already done. Whoopi offered nothing but vague justifications, hiding behind freedom of opinion like it was a bulletproof vest. But there's a big difference between a hot take and a defamatory attack, and that difference is about to cost someone 9 figures. Joe didn't scream. He didn't beg. He just laughed. Because he knew they were drowning in the very drama they created.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's
That's
the
the only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
Joy Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just heard about
it. I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check this? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside of
bitch.
people?
The irony was delicious. A show built on demanding accountability for everyone else was now desperately avoiding it themselves. Every time Joy opened her mouth to insult Rogan, a new meme was born, and a new clip got dissected in front of millions of furious viewers. The media tried to spin it. They called it controversial and tense. But let's be honest, it was a total implosion. Behind the scenes, ABC's lawyers were sweating bullets. Disney execs were holding emergency meetings, praying this wouldn't go to trial. Could a few sloppy words really cost them $100 million? Apparently, yes. Because when those words damage a global brand, the law steps in fast. The dragon believer joke? It wasn't just stupid, it was expensive. Rogan didn't lose money because of bad content. He lost money because of The View's mouth. And now, even the viewers who hate Rogan were asking, did The View go too far? Did they finally meet someone they couldn't bully? The answer was loud and clear. Yes.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of.
And that someone was Joe Rogan, who was now holding the entire table accountable with one legal punch. The headlines exploded. Rogan sues The View. 100 million bombshell. Talk show chaos. News anchors were stunned, and ABC was spiraling. The backlash wasn't just online, it hit the boardrooms. Sponsors, execs, and media watchdogs all started asking the same question. What did they say? And can we afford it? Because this lawsuit? It wasn't symbolic. It was strategic, detailed, and aimed straight at the credibility of one of TV's longest-running shows. And even if Rogan didn't win the full $100 million, the damage was already done. Their brand was bleeding, and the audience saw it happen in real time. Rogan's podcast exploded with views. His episode on The View drama was trending in every country. While ABC scrambled, Rogan was cashing in on their mistake. The best part? He didn't even need to exaggerate. He just played the clips, broke down the nonsense, and let their words speak for themselves. Because when someone says he believes in dragons as a serious insult, you know they've run out of real arguments. Rogan's calm, surgical takedown was a masterclass in media accountability. He didn't raise his voice. He raised the stakes. And for The View, those stakes were now terrifyingly high. Gone were the giggles and glib remarks. In their place, silence, nervous glances, legal reviews. Their once loyal audience? Some stayed, but many left, fed up with the double standards and watching their favorite hosts self-destruct. Now, if you like this video, please give huge thumbs up and subscribe us for more videos like this, and comment your opinion below.